I've traveled back 114 years to the deck of a ship they called Unsinkable. In 4 days, that claim would be proven tragically wrong. At 882 feet long, this was the largest moving object ever built by human hands at the time. The company that built this ship publicly declared they had absolute confidence, they called it, in their own words, unsinkable. Inside, this wasn't just a ship. First-class passengers walked through interiors that rivaled the finest hotels in the world. But behind all this luxury was an engineering claim that convinced thousands of people to trust their lives on this voyage. This ship was divided into 16 separate watertight compartments. Engineers believed it could stay afloat even if 4 of them completely flooded. But there was a flaw almost no one talked about. These walls didn't actually reach all the way to the top of the ship. Designers believed this system could handle 4 flooded compartments at once. They never imagined a scenario where 5 or more would fail together. By the night of April 14th, this ship had already received at least 6 separate warnings about ice directly in its path. The sea that night was unusually calm, almost glass-like. That calm made the danger ahead even harder for lookouts to spot in time. At 11:40 p.m., most passengers felt barely more than a light shudder. Almost no one on board realized what had actually happened. Below deck, the reality was very different. Water was already pouring in through a gash stretching nearly 300 feet along the hull. The ship's own builder came down personally to inspect the damage. What he found changed everything in a matter of minutes. His estimate was blunt and immediate. This ship had, at most, around 2 hours left before it went under completely. This ship carried lifeboats for barely half the people on board. Regulations at the time hadn't kept up with how large ships had become. Survival that night depended heavily on where your ticket placed you. First-class passengers reached the boats first, and most often. A small group of musicians kept playing on deck throughout the evacuation, a quiet, steady sound meant to calm the growing panic around them. Some lifeboats left only half full. In the confusion, no one was fully coordinating how many people each boat could carry. The ship had less time left than almost anyone on board realized, and what happened in its final minutes is hard to put into words. By 2 in the morning, the bow had already vanished beneath the surface. What remained was tilting higher into the night sky by the minute. Eventually, the strain became too much. The ship's structure couldn't hold together under its own weight any longer. The ship split apart in 2, the bow and stern separating just minutes before the final plunge. It's time for me to go. What happens in these final minutes isn't something I need to witness up close. Some stories are better honored from a respectful distance. Just before 2:20 that morning, the ship disappeared beneath the surface completely. Over 1,500 people did not survive. By morning, all that remained on the surface was an empty, silent ocean where a ship once stood. Out of over 20 people on board, only around 700 survived. Most were women and children from first and second class. This tragedy changed maritime law forever. Every ship since has been required to carry enough lifeboats for everyone on board. A ship called Unsinkable, brought down by ice, human overconfidence, and a flaw no one thought would ever matter.